Well, back in studio.
Mm-hmm.
Special guest with us today.
Very special.
This guy's going to need no intro, obviously, but we're going to give him one anyways. You were with the team, what, 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
With the team for 5 years. You wore an A at a time. You wore a C at a time. Wore our Hat Trick Hockey nameplate for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Number 20, Conor Dembinski. What's up, brother?
Nothing, man. Excited to be back. Happy to be here.
Round 2.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I was kind of like, I wouldn't say pissed, but like last year I couldn't get you because there's just a whole bunch of shit going on, right? And like, I couldn't get you. I'm like, shit, because you're one of the guys that I wanted every year.
Yearly.
You got to come on, like, especially when you wear our name, like, you know what I
No,
mean?
we got him last year.
Did we? No, because Rob and I got him the first time, and I think this is your second time.
Well, he
on
was
the
there
show.
with
I
Rob.
was-
You were there, right?
I was
You
present.
guys,
Was
yeah.
that like one of your first interviews?
You've been like, like my third interview probably.
Okay.
But no, it's really awesome to have Conor back here, especially after a couple clutch goals along the way.
Oh,
and
my God.
What was a great playoff run. Ended shorter than everybody in this room wished it would have, but just...
Before we kind of get into it, let's just do this off the hop here. The first couple minutes here.
Yeah.
Shocking news in the PJHL today. We lost Craig Spence yesterday. The whole hockey world was just in this area is just completely stunned. It was obviously, I believe it was a car accident. I believe. I hate to say it, but it was. We just want to just say we're very sorry to Craig's family, his team, obviously the Blades and everything. Like, we love you guys. If there's anything that we can do to help out, feel free to reach out. We're here. And I'm assuming you want to add to it. I know you and him talked a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's sad to say now, but Craig was one of the people we had lined up for an interview to get on, and I only knew him in passing, but just from what everyone has said about him and from my experience with him, it really shows how much of an impact you can leave in this world, and his is profound on and off the ice. On the ice, he was a captain. Casually went 2 points per game this year. OHL drafted, all the talent in the world and all the effort in the world and a really hard work ethic. Which he demonstrated in everything he did in his life. So, gone way too soon. But definitely every organization he's played for and everyone that's known him, and especially his family, his brother, his sister, his parents, grandparents, just our profound condolences to them. And we hope you can find some semblance of peace in this situation. I can't imagine. I know it's never easy, but... thoughts and prayers go out to you.
For sure. Now, you actually played against him for a few years. Is there any kind of story that you remember from him just being on the ice? Because he was a unit, that kid. He was a big boy.
Yeah, I played against Spence when I was in Sun County a little bit. He was in Chatham. I mean, coming from me, from my family too, we'd like to extend our condolences, to the family, to friends, to the Blenheim Blades and Chatham Maroons organizations and everybody, that he touched. It's tragic, and I know everybody I've talked to is shook up about it. So, just wanted to extend our condolences. I didn't know him well, but, playing against him, he's the type of guy where you'd chirp him and, he never had anything bad to say. He always seemed like a real stand-up guy. So, and from everybody I know that knew him has said the same thing. So, I don't really know what to say, man. It took everybody by surprise. So, I'm just really sorry to hear it.
Everybody, seriously, we're you guys are just in our thoughts, man. Constantly, We're always constantly right now, thinking about you guys. We're just trying to give you guys some strength. And like I said, if there's anything we can do, feel free to let us know.
Always chat.
Now we'll kind of move on a little bit here. Conor, leading into your, let's say your senior year or your overage year, How did you feel going in? Did you know, like, did you feel good going in? Was it like, I know freaking camp, you guys, I watched you guys in camp for a little bit, and just, how did you feel headed into your final year?
Well, headed into the season, I was definitely excited. Seeing guys that we got back, guys like Cooves and Pix and Kibber, some guys that I've, known a little bit for a while, but, I've known Kibber since grade school, but the other guys coming in, to get to know those guys, it was great, man. Great guys, great hockey players. And so I was excited. And the new coaching staff, and especially coming into camp, it seemed like we had an emphasis on hard work and an emphasis on, doing the right things on the ice. So I was really excited, and I think I had good reason to be excited with everybody that had come in. So
Yeah.
I don't think I had the start I wanted to get off to. Suspension in preseason, and then coming back to a hit and a fight, and I don't know if I put the puck in the net as much as I'd like to this season, but we won a lot of hockey games, and I felt like I contributed in other ways. I was really pumped for this season.
I didn't know you were so silky on defense.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did.
I know. Out of nowhere, I'm like watching
look
the
at
game.
this
And
guy.
I had never had a coach. I had never played junior, like defense in junior, until this year, and it was kind of funny because I show up to the dressing room and I'm walking by the coach's office and I'm looking through the windows into the coach's office to try and get a peek of who I'm playing with that game. And they called me in, and Tony was kind of chuckling because it was Wallaceburg or somebody, and Tony's kind of chuckling, and he's like, "Hey, you're playing defense tonight," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, funny." Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, "No, like you're playing defense tonight," and he just said, "Keep it simple, you're a veteran guy, you'll be fine." I was like, "Okay," and I honestly, I guess I hope it turned out to be a good call because I felt good back there, and
Kidding me? It looked good.
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I liked having a little bit of time and space with the puck on the back end and trying to get pucks through. And I think a lot of guys were asking me. I didn't even know you could skate backwards. And I felt good, man. I was a little surprised that my gap was awful. There was a couple things I definitely needed to work on, but it was fun. It was definitely
the thing
fun.
is, though, is you got a bomb for a shot, too,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well,
like,
it worked
having you
out.
back there on defense was on the power play.
He
was
got
awesome.
practice for that power play unit, right? It was just the same thing. You send him out, play with Marty, and it was perfect. Marty went and played forward, parked himself in front,
Yeah.
and then Dembo was at the top of the hash marks and just leaned into him, outside of the circles, especially that goal against Blenheim. I was electric. Two of them. That
two
loose
in that
puck.
night,
He did you tie? No, he made it a 2-1 game. Blenheim was up 2-0 that game.
Yeah.
Then he made it 2-1, ties it, and then Dallas with the clutch tip in.
I think one of the nights I'll never, it will always fucking sit right here in my head is the first night you wore our badge, he threw up a hat trick.
Yeah.
First night, I was like,
That was awesome.
so someone wrote on the Essex 73's Facebook page, like, that's great advertisement there for hat trick hockey. I was like, no shit. Because, like, that night, I'll never forget it, man. It was just like everything you shot was just like bing and bing. And I'm like, holy crow. Like, look at this. Because I didn't really know you. You know what I mean? I'm like, who's this kid wearing our thing? And he comes whipping out. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's like, bam, he scores. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
you know?
he
Gets
was-
another one. And I'm like, well, we got a shot here. And then he gets another one. I'm like, well, the guy wearing the freaking hat trick hockey pod
his
throws up a hat
shot,
trick.
his shot. I mean, he's sitting right here.
Well, it's nasty.
Yeah, like Dembo's shot is something else. Like I always notice you do that trick where you kind of like cover the puck, with the toe of your blade for a quick second before you take that snap, and it's elusive. It beats goalies. Like, I know Dembo's a big high glove guy. He always
Like going
rips
Chad,
it right under the bar. But no, it's so many awesome memories of him scoring huge goals for us, and I'm so happy that like all 5 years, that must have been something. What a ride through COVID. Like, talk about like just go back through all these 5 years. I know you can't probably nail it down to one. Maybe you can, but just what are your like greatest memories?
Oh, great memories. Like on the ice.
Yeah, sure.
No, no, it's hard just because I'm such the guys, man. The guys there, some of my best friends. So I got a lot of great memories on and off the ice. But I think honestly that Blenheim goal, that tying it up in playoffs this year, that was a cool one. Felt good to score a big goal in front of a packed crowd in Essex there. But I do remember my rookie season. We were having trouble with Wheatley through the regular season there. We played him, I think, 5 times, and we couldn't beat him. I think that's the year we finished 4th. So we come into Wheatley, we go down 2 games in playoffs, so they would beat us 7 straight. And I remember we come back 4 straight. We're in Wheatley, game 6, 3rd period. Puck popped loose off the draw. I was able to go short side, and that won us the series. And I don't know why. That one just always kind of, maybe it was just because it was my first big one with Essex.
Yeah,
but
series winner, too.
that was always that one always sticks with me, too. So, a couple goals in Lakeshore here and there, but those always feel good, big ones, especially in my hometown, right? So, but yeah, you're right. It is hard to pin down one moment, but there's so many great memories I have in Essex. So,
you got that gift by, I don't know, there was a couple of them in the series, but Lakeshore, that miscommunication, they threw it off the side of their net, and he just walked out all alone and ripped it. That was awesome.
One question, too, is who did you hit in front of their bench in Game 6?
I honestly forget who that was.
We were on the call that night, and you threw that hit, and my jaw just went.
It might have been Garvey.
It was.
He had a rough series.
It was thunderous.
Kind of hope so, but Garvey's a buddy of mine, so that'd be kind of funny if it was.
Well, whoever it was, man.
I don't know. I know Garvey. He took a couple big hits in that series.
I think he took a couple big hits in that game.
Yeah. It was in our barn.
There was a couple hits where I was like,
just the way.
He is a solid little fucker. He's a good kid. I've known him a long time. My dad actually used to coach him in Belleville way back. So
okay.
I've known him a long time.
Yeah, he was pretty highly touted player back in the day. He grew quick and was a big guy, young.
Oh, yeah.
But
you want to know one of the things that really made me laugh this year is, so Game 2 of the year you got in that fight in Dresden.
Yeah.
Who was that?
It was DePel's maker.
It was Pell's, right? Okay.
It was kind of funny because I came in the room and with a new guy in the room, right? I didn't know who it was, so I go over, I shake his hand. I'm like, "Hey man, like I'm Connor, like nice to meet you." So I'm Shane, like good to meet you, right? I'm like, "Cool." No idea who he was. I didn't know. Now I'd played against Pelzy like in Chatham growing up a little bit, but I didn't know him, right? So I didn't know who he was. I introduced myself and Pelzy's got a smile on his face and he calls me over. He's like, "Dumbo, come here." He's like, "You know who that is?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "That's the guy that you fought at the start of the season." It was kind of funny because then it's in his first practice and we're standing there shooting the shit and he kind of asked me, he's like, "Hey, like, did you throw?" Because I hit. I guess it ended up being their 16-year-old. I guess he ended up being their 16-year-old and I hit the kid. It wasn't a great hit. So yeah, DePel, he grabbed me and he got me in the face a couple times. So when we're talking about it, I was like, "Yeah, dude, you got me over the eye, and you gotta do what you gotta do, right?" Yeah. It's a 16-year-old.
It's junior hockey.
Happens on the ice, stays on the ice, and it was just it ended up being a good laugh between us. So it was funny.
That's hilarious because I was saying to Mike too, and Mike said that we just got him in some like sort of deal or whatever, and then I said to Mike, I was like, "Didn't he fight Dembo?"
Yeah, exactly. You were right. I remember you saying that to me too, and I'm like, "You might be right."
Well, that's awesome. Another funny story too. You guys remember Curtis Jackson?
Cujo, yeah,
Cujo. He's a good buddy of mine too. I was with him last weekend, but my 16-year-old season, I was trying out in Essex and Bell River, right, in Lakeshore there, and I ended up leaving Essex camp to try and make Lakeshore because it was hometown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I ended up going and I played an exhibition game against Lakeshore or against Essex for Lakeshore in Bell River there, and me and Cujo actually dropped the gloves in exhibition.
Did you?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I remember I'm 16, I'm a young kid, right, and I remember leaving the arena and he's walking towards me down the hallway and I'm like, "Oh, like, what's he gonna say?" And he just gave me a tap and said, "Good fight, bud." And I was like, "Hey, like, it's on the ice, right?"
Yeah.
We ended up playing together for 4 years, and he's one of my best buds. So
that's what's good about hockey.
Exactly.
You could literally fight a guy and then like go have a beer with him after.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you tried to make Bell River. That's right, because you already played a game for them, right?
I had played 4 games that season.
Yeah,
I went back to Bell River instead of going to Windsor Midget Major there, and I think it was, for me at least, I think I gained a lot of confidence with the puck going down. So then coming into the next season, I wanted to play high school hockey, so I played my 4 games with Lakeshore, and then it ended up just coming down to I went to camp with Essex. Danny Anger was the coach. I had known Danny from when I was a little younger, and they offered me a spot, and I wasn't going to say no to, the 73s. And, even though those fucking guys beat us, over the last couple of years, I wouldn't have changed my decision for the world. I think it was the best decision I could have made, and the way that they treated me the last 5 years, I'll be a 73 forever. I still bleed orange, right? So
yes, sir.
That won't go away. And
that's right,
man. Just watching you guys, you guys got us locked in now on you guys. When Rob was with the show or whatever, we were doing the show and we were talking 73s and shit like that, and I was like, I think I went to 2 or 3 games, and then now it's the next year it was okay, then I was going to more.
Yep.
And then this year it was just we're on staff and we're fucking
this year
you know what I mean? We're running social media,
no game was gonna be
LTV.
This was, well, you got to think I'm sure you guys were all excited, all the vets, looking at the names they brought in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You bring in Gabe Piccolo. I was on that train from last year because there was always everyone was talking, right? Leamington, they were going to lose half their roster because they're not going to. Not too many guys want to make the move. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, so which ones are we going to get? And I was chatting with Mike about it, and he was didn't even think about. That name wasn't even tossed around as a possibility. Basically.
Yeah, because
I just had it in the back of my head, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, Tristan. The first post when I took over social media, he's like, guess what your first post is going to be? I'm like, what? He's like, Gabe Piccolo. And I was like, awesome. Oh, no way. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, man, imagine being in that room and you just got the best player from Windsor Essex Junior B. Mm-hmm. What was that feeling like? You guys signed like 4 players within a 2-week span. They're like, you got Coos and what's his name who didn't come to the team?
Taves.
Yeah, Taves. That was a school thing, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah.
But he would have been.
Who was that?
He would have been he would have been a good addition.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to see him play, but my brother grew up playing with him. He's always a good hockey player. We ended up getting Marty out of it, right?
Gosh.
How can you go wrong?
Your number one D-man casually comes midway
he came in and he made an
deal.
impact right away. Big guy, skates, moves the puck well. Got some hands on him and a shot. How can you go wrong, right?
He's silky.
And he was a fun guy to have around too. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, all the guys. It was a really good room this year. Honestly, every year I've been here, it's been a great room. I'm still buddies with the guys that were 5 years older than me when I started playing. Right. So
now, I got a question here. Not to really get into the nitty gritty, but with the coaching change and stuff, and with Tony coming in, did Tony kind of restore some kind of fire in you? Because you really seemed to light a switch when he came in as the coach. Not to say that Rido wasn't deploying you correct, but it almost seemed like your whole game changed and you were back to the old Dembo.
Yeah, start of the season, I loved the intensity Ride's brought. I loved the work ethic that we had in practice. The way we started the season was ridiculous. And then I don't know exactly what happened. I honestly couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't know the real reason, whatever. Shit happens. Danny came in. I've known Danny a long time. But I didn't have a great start to my season. And from what all Rides saw to me was me taking penalties and me, maybe struggling a little with the puck. So I 100% understand why maybe I wasn't getting the minutes maybe I saw at the end of the season. That for me, it's you're going to put the best guys out there at that time that are playing the best. And if I'm not that guy, you're not going to put me out because that's not what's best for the team. And I always understood that. And I always knew that if you aren't that guy, if you're the guy that's not playing, you be up for the boys, you be positive because, that's what teammates do. And that was also one of Tony's big mentalities. Tony came in and he plays a very simple kind of game, but it's very effective. And it's hard to explain because when I say simple, he also can pick out the tiniest details of your game to make you better, So it's just the main things, the hard work, the winning every battle, the just out muscling the other guy on the other team, and just his big thing he always said through the season was when you come back in this room at the end of the game, you got to be able to look to the guy next to you and be able to say, I gave you everything I got.
Yeah.
So, and I think the guys bought into that. So, yeah, it was just, I don't know if it was anything really personal with me that kind of brought my game up a little towards the end, but it was also, it's coming to a close, right? You kind of got to,
let's go here.
yeah, do what you can.
turn
It's
it
your
up a
last
notch.
shot. So maybe it was a little bit of that, but I don't know if there's any specific reason.
Oh, it was, yeah, everyone was like, even me included, from the start of the season, was kind of thinking like, like the big newscast. Where is Conor Dembinski and what will he do next? You're just kind of like, yeah, where's Dembo? Like, you were watching and I could tell you were getting frustrated, eh? Like,
Yeah.
just everything was like, man, bad bounce. I remember there was one game you hit like 3 posts.
Yeah, I was real
and
snake
nothing
bitten.
was going in.
I
Sorry?
was real snake bitten. I just couldn't
Oh,
find
yeah,
the net.
snake bit.
That's all. Yeah.
But and then the penalties, but then just
I
came
was
back
like-
and when it mattered most in playoffs.
I was like, since when does this guy fight all the time? You were like,
yeah, I know. I
you
was
were
like,
fighting.
No,
and I'm
no.
he
like,
was
what is
last
going
year. He
on
was a
right
timid
now?
goal scorer. Next thing you know, he comes out like
I was like,
see him grimacing.
Yeah, I
was,
only had the one
messing
fight
around
last year.
with freaking with some of the executive guys. I'm like, you guys are gonna have to throw us back some fucking cash because this guy's kicked out all the time. Like, he's not even advertising for us. But it was
That's funny.
obviously I was joking, but
Yeah,
it was
no.
like, but I just couldn't believe because I had never seen that style of your fucking play because you're always like scoring goals and setting up goals and killing penalties and power play, and now you're like rocking guys, dropping the gloves. I'm like, what is going on? Where's the Connor that played last year? So is that something that you knew going into your final year? You kind of had to add to your game for the team to be a little more physical.
See, that's kind of funny to say. So when I was a kid, trying to make Sun County and stuff, I was never the most skilled guy, especially with my skating. So it was a lot of grind and pound, get pucks out, get pucks deep, hit guys, cause some shit,
For sure.
So then I came to Essex, and I remember it's funny. There was a time where I didn't make a play or something, and I get on the bench, and Danny goes, "Hey, so are you a fucking skill guy? Are you a skill guy?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, yes, you are." He's like, "Make a fucking play." And I was like, "Oh," it's like that's the first time anybody's ever told me that. I was like, "All right, right on."
There you go.
I was like, "Okay." So my confidence grew.
Yep.
But and especially at the start of the season when I wasn't producing, like I maybe thought I have to make an impact somewhere else in my game.
Yeah.
Now, being one of the older guys in the league, maybe not one of the smallest either, throwing bodies against, maybe that's one of the reasons I was taking penalties too. So, I was excited to kind of get back onto that, trying to put the puck in
Yeah,
the net
but
a
you
little
seem
more.
to like everything kind of like leveled out with you to where you found that sweet spot.
Yeah.
To where you were like physical, you weren't getting thrown out of games for
Oh,
fighting.
dude, he's the
And-
ultimate vet.
Yeah, like
What-
you
like-
seemed to just lock in, and it was
Yeah.
very obvious when you did too. I was like, whoa, look at this guy, because it was like, bam, goal, and then rock somebody, and then make a play, and then I'm like, holy
they had
shit.
the Woodsley line going there for a while. Your brother and Caber and you.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was.
But I want to ask, like, obviously the game didn't go the way anyone, maybe like 20 people wanted it to go this way. But what's it like playing in a Game 7 in that atmosphere with, we don't know the amount of fans, but a sold-out crowd?
Yeah, well, I think that was my first Game 7 through 5 years of
Wow.
junior C hockey. So
Okay.
because first round we wouldn't go too far. The teams would always put up a fight, and it's nothing ever against
Right.
the lower end teams. It's hard when you're not getting the we live closer to the city. We get a lot more guys to pick from. So it's nothing against those teams, but those teams we wouldn't really go far with. Second round, usually we'd take them in between 4 and 6, and we never really went as far as we'd like to with Lakeshore in the last couple of years. So it was as much as it was an accomplishment to get there and to take them 3-3 to go to Game 7. We felt like we weren't done yet, and it was really cool atmosphere coming out for warm-ups in Essex Game 6, and the place is already fucking packed.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome. It was unbelievable.
Remember what I was saying to you guys? I'm like, I think you're gonna have 1,000 for warm up.
Oh yeah, which is why we never had that.
It was incredible.
Parking that day was ridiculous, and we were there an
and
hour.
we got to do the call. That was And the with the 50 seconds left, the go threes go.
Yeah.
Everyone in that building, every team from around was there. There was Petrolia guys there. I'm like, you're not even in our division anymore.
Have you ever seen that rink so full?
No. So like, it's being there for 5 years. I've always heard stories of, back in 2015 when they were winning championships and the amount of people in the stands, and I've always wanted to play in front of that many people. It's kind of a goal you have. You want to go far enough to get a big crowd out because Essex loves their hockey, right? They love the 73s, and so to come out to that warm up and to come out in Essex to a crowd like that and to win 1-0, it was a really, really cool feeling.
We were going insane.
Oh my gosh!
Like that.
I didn't even know
minute of the game was like.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to say. Yeah, and then
Holy
Wyatt
smokes.
made 2 unreal
ridiculous
saves.
Dude, his saves in that series were on Schladoya, who had 3 breakaways on him.
Yeah.
Robbed him twice, got scored on the one time, but that was such a game. That game 6, oh my gosh. I didn't even know Bugsy scored when he did. That was gross.
Yeah.
Shoveled it back in. I was
It was a little
what?
It was, I forget who he was with, but it was a little almost.
It was
give and
Kale
go
McCabe.
off
Yeah.
the
It was
wall.
like a touch pass.
Yeah,
He just
it was
left it
a little
for him.
and then he just
And he just shoveled it.
Nasty
Of all
backhand.
shots
Oh,
to
yeah.
score on that goalie, he scores on a backhander too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
whoa.
whoa.
We were talking about before
Whatever,
the show.
they've,
It comes
moved on.
down to bounces.
Yeah, well,
And the amount of rebounds that were getting out.
yeah.
Not to put it, Peroski,
he
had a
fantastic.
960 in the playoffs.
He was fantastic.
But
he was
the
kicking
rebounds that were coming out,
juicy rebounds,
It's
juicy.
especially at Lakeshore, couple of nets that were missed. Shirky had that close one stopped on the line, and yeah, that's just what a way to close out your career though. And we were talking about it on our last episode. We heard Halsey's mom had posted. Liam said it's gonna be a while for me and Dembo to take our jersey off, and
Yeah.
I know it might be tough, and you don't want to make you emotional, but what's the feeling after, you realize this is it? That's the last one.
Yeah, I honestly think it's still sinking in.
Yeah.
Me and Carter are still talking about next year's team in the kitchen. We're talking in the kitchen this morning about next year's team. It won't stop, but I don't think it'll really, really hit me until I walk into the home opener next season, to watch those guys play. But it was wild, and the fight we put up in that game 7, we only allowed 10 shots in our own zone all game. Those are usually games you win, but they capitalize on their bounces. We didn't get our bounces. Sometimes that's the way she goes, and it fucking sucks. But walking into the dressing room afterwards, it was hard. Everybody's giving you hugs, and a lot of the guys shaking hands. Good career, great career, good job, and as much as you appreciate it, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. You just want to be like, leave me alone.
Yeah, and it, my brother comes up and gives me a big hug, and I'm almost in tears, and I'm giving Fieldsy, and I go into the room, and me and Halsey are not we're both sitting there, guys are getting undressed, and we're just sitting there in our gear because we don't want to get undressed, right? I didn't want to take the jersey off, right? So it was definitely hard to pull it off and look at it and hand it to Bakes, and no, you're never gonna put it on again. It's definitely tough, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Are you gonna what I was saying too with you guys like you and frickin' Halsey and everything? You guys should get involved with the team in a different aspect.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the executive or you guys need to be involved in some way, because you guys are you guys are the ideal freaking humans of what it's like to be a 73. So
what I was thinking, and I was actually going to kind of discuss this with you, but this is perfect opportunity since we're here, is kind of next year have you were saying a panel where during the call, rather because they want to cut out that intermission dead time where it's just the Zamboni going around, keep the call on and kind of get a show going, like former 73s, right?
Yeah, you could
Like
rip
the
a,
73s alumni, whatever. Tonight we've
10
got
minute interview or whatever.
Yeah, we've got Conor Dembinski, we've got Liam Hall, or maybe Tyler Scott's
Well,
there for
yeah, you'd be able to catch all the guys that used to play, and the guys that are just hanging around the rink because they still love watching it.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing is, and we saw it a lot this year where there'd be some old Essex 73s watching practice because they're on the other rink doing something, or you stay interested, right? You always watch the team you played for and cheer for them, and that was another cool thing, especially I know for guys like Shirky who grew up watching those guys, to be able to say, we're trying to do what you did, be able to talk to them and relate, and it is cool. It is cool. I grew up watching Belver, unfortunately, so I don't really. But at the same time, like I remember sneaking into. Well, I probably shouldn't say that, but I remember coming to the Threes games when I was in Sun County and stuff, and nah, it doesn't really matter. And,
You don't play anyways.
No, I don't play anymore anyways.
Fuck, you can say
But,
whatever you want.
No, and the goal was always Essex or Belver, so I feel like I accomplished my goal and had a successful career. So
No, for sure. Like there was so much support. Like I saw 73s from literally every era. Like there was guys from the original team. There was guys from the 80s, 90s. Well, a couple of the 2000s guys were on the Lakeshore bench. But and then just to see like the ones like you were saying, those guys that grew up like the 14, 15 teams, like Tyler Scott, Jack Stott, all those boys are up there. You play with Jax, right?
I love
Jaxie.
Jaxie. Jaxie's a great guy.
Terrific goalie too.
Yeah.
During the Lakeshore series, I couldn't go anywhere in town without somebody asking me about you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it was... I couldn't actually... Here, I'll rephrase that. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go to Harrow. I couldn't go to hockey. I couldn't pump my gas. I couldn't fucking anything without somebody asking me about the 73s.
So all
You
eyes
guys
were on
had...
Essex.
Yes, all eyes were here. And you guys had this town and probably will forever have this town. It's painted orange, man.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, everybody's asking me about you guys.
Well,
Everywhere.
you look at the I know we've talked about this a lot, but like the pedigree of the roster, you're hard pressed to find a roster better than this year.
Oh, yeah.
Top to bottom on paper, you look at this team, it's like you got 4 Sutherland Cup champions from last year. You've got your overagers are all terrific. You bring in the captain of Dresden for 3 years. You bring in a goalie who was putting up like a 920 save percentage in Junior B. So like, and your 2 other goalies are terrific themselves. Cavan, I think, has one of the all-time best save percentage records. And what's his name? Hit
The only
50 wins this year, right?
No, he was Brighter.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got the record or not. It's 50 shutouts. He was trying to break the. I don't know if it was 50, but he was trying to break the.
50 shutouts.
I'll check.
I don't career shutout. Like I don't know if it's 50. I don't remember what it was,
it might be
but
40.
I remember
It
they
might
were
be 40.
because what happened.
But we're still gonna have another
Look
year
it up.
with Brider.
Yeah,
right?
is a couple because Brider was trying to break the. It was a record. It was all-time record for something, and I remember I did it a couple times. I'm like, guys, like.
Is it,
Play D, we can't let him get scored on. Literally 2 shifts later, he gets scored because I jinxed him, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the one game I threw a puck right up the wall to the D man, and they scored, and I felt so bad. And then I think Shirky did it once, so it just became don't talk about it.
Yeah, just
don't talk
Just
about it.
know what you have to do.
Exactly. I felt bad because hockey guys are superstitious a bit, I guess, and I just felt like I robbed them up. I was like I shouldn't have said anything.
The one thing that was crazy too that I actually noticed was just the difference in the coaching styles of when you guys had that change.
Yeah.
Because one was more very offensive and the other one is very
Defensive.
defensive.
well, yeah,
right?
the like first game of the year was 13-0 versus Amherstburg, and then the next time they played Amherstburg, well, maybe a few times down the line, but it was like 3-0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it was completely like
Yeah.
you still won the hockey game. You still outplayed them.
So, but one thing I'll kind of add to that is like, how was it playing for a guy like Tony?
It was definitely a privilege to play for Tony, and I've told him that a couple times, and he said, "Oh no, thank you guys." But he is one of the most. He is probably the highest hockey IQ I've ever met, and it was a privilege. Him coming in, and I told him yesterday when I saw him at the rink there. I told him I thank you because I think he did more for us than he even realizes. he brought a lot of us together. He brought the team together, and it was just a different atmosphere. It was play for the guy next to you. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter. As long as you're working hard for the guy next to you, we're going to be just fine. And, well, fuck, man, we almost were, So, he was a really cool guy to play for. It would have been cool to play for him for a bit longer than 3 months, but at the same time, I have nothing bad to say about the coaches I played for throughout my career. So, I played for some pretty good coaches over the years. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've always loved that about like Essex, but especially this year with Tony, that win as a team and lose as a team mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
we don't even go out of the room without everybody being ready. Like that's how,
yeah.
And he's very detail oriented when it comes to, and like we were like he came in and we changed up all our systems and guys were trying to learn it, and guys trying to learn new systems, maybe they get a little frustrated or they're like, why are we doing this? Why are they doing that? But a lot of guys just stick to the process, right? And he did a real good job of teaching us what he wanted us to know. You grab your man on the way back was a big one, especially against Lakeshore, big in the D zone, and he knew that we were good enough to, once the puck's in their zone, find the net, right? So it was big, just take care of our zone. They can't score, we can't lose kind of mentality. So, and we came close. So one bounce, right? One bounce, and one bounce goes the other way. You never know, right? So
that's what I mean. That's hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'll say it, if Halsey gets that shorty, I think that game goes a different way.
Well, another big moment in that series too was when Pick got a fucking shot in frickin' Lakeshore. Remember, he got someone. Was that
that was game 2?
Was that a puck
no, that was game,
covered
was
in
it
the crease or hauled down?
game
I think he
three?
got hauled down on a
Game
breakaway,
3,
right?
the series was tied 1-1. We went down 2-1.
Pick got a penalty shot.
Pick got a penalty shot right away. Yeah, Pick got a penalty shot right away. Sent it wide. They prosecuted a piece of it. From the angle I was at, I looked like it went wide.
Yeah, I mean, being in those positions, it's hard, and I've been there where you get a puck on your stick, and then that night you're up all night just thinking about it, like what if I scored that? But you can't. It's hard because you can't do that to yourself. As much as when you're thinking back on it, you're thinking about individual plays. We win and lose as a team, and those guys also did a whole hell of a lot to help us win, right? So.
One of the things
it's hard, man.
Is when you guys were taking a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
Well,
like I looked over at the bench at times, and Tony was like
penalties. Eh?
Yeah, Tony was losing it, and I'm like, man. Well, the one night we took like 8.
Well,
but I understand Lakeshore took 8 too. Like both teams had 8 that one night. Both
what
teams.
was the night we lost in Essex? Oh, game 2. That was.
I think that
abysmal.
might be. I think that might be the game I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was okay. Well, like 6 of those weren't. You don't call those in playoffs. If you do, you call them even.
I thought later the series went, the refs did a better job of letting you guys handle it.
Game 6 was the best ref game ever.
But there was, and that was Matty Gerard and it was.
Was it Fast?
No, it was Brandon Flood was that game.
Oh, you got you flipped the script, but no, it was. No, it was he made up the majority of the calls in that game too, and then but respect to him for that letting you guys play out that game 6.
Yeah, they let us play hard in the finals there, and over my career maybe I've been a little too hard on the refs on the ice. I don't know how many of those guys are really a big fan of me, but I got nothing but respect for those guys, even if I don't agree with their calls. It's always just a game at the end of the day, right? So, no animosity. It's just. Even if you don't agree with the calls, it's just kind of the way she goes, unfortunately. But, I think they let us play hard in the finals. But there's always going to be calls you don't agree with. And, I was probably losing my mind a couple times and maybe said some things I shouldn't have. But the big thing was not saying anything to take a penalty, right? So, and even what game was I took 2 penalties at home. I don't think it was game 2. It must have been game 4 at home. I took a penalty on a back check, and then I got out of the penalty box and hit a kid on their team.
I do, yeah.
And I remember I hit him. He had turned, and I hit him, and I was like, oh, no, because I thought they might have got me for something from behind. Or Hammer looks at me, and he looks at me, he goes, don't worry, Dembo. He goes, two cross check, and I was like, fucking right.
Yeah.
That's thank
Hammer's
you. You know,
awesome.
Hammers keep me in the game.
Yeah, I
he
love
understands. He didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I've definitely had my disagreements with Hammer, but he seems like a good guy, and he definitely let us play in the end there. So
I actually like
kudos to
know him.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
okay, right on, man.
Yeah.
Good.
All series long, the thing was getting that second goal. Because whoever got that second goal won the game. All series long, it's that second goal is the most important one. And what's the feeling like in Game 4 when instead of going down 3-1, you got to tie that series, get it 2-2. Short-handed, you watch your captain go through everybody.
Oh.
What's the reaction on the bench? What's going through you guys' head?
I mean, almost disbelief, but at the same time, it's picks, so like you believe it, right? Like,
exactly.
you know, you've seen him do some crazy shit before, so it was just you see him make the first move, and you're like, oh. Then you see him make the next move, and you're like, oh my god, and then it's 5-hole, and then everybody's losing their mind, and awesome. it was a cool feeling, and I think it was good because I can't remember if he had scored any, but I think he was almost getting the monkey off his back a little, and yeah, man, he played some great hockey, that's for sure, in the finals there.
You want to know where I was for that goal? My daughter's fucking 11th fucking birthday party. And I had the game on there. I'm like, listen, I have to watch this game because one, I was on socials for you guys, and I'm like, I'm watching this game. And when Pick scored that goal, I was like, yelling in the party.
Did you hear us on the announce?
Oh yeah,
my
I was
and Jonesy,
screaming at the top of my lungs like.
We bled into each other's call. You can't even understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're like, "Ah,"
you want to know
freaking out.
how I know that it was a good run? So we're calling Game 6 at home.
Yeah.
And Mike's sister, Misty, is like really close with us. So Misty stood in like mine and Steph's wedding.
Right on.
So Misty couldn't even get into the game because it was sold out,
Really?
Game 6. So I told her, I said, well, we're on the call. I said, Steph's watching it at home with E because E was a little under the weather. So I'm like, Steph's watching it at home, go there. And Steph, I guess, was like yelling at the TV. So I'm like, that's how I know, like,
Yeah.
it was very exciting because, like, Steph hasn't really showed any, like, it's not that she doesn't like you guys, just she hasn't really shown crazy interest, but she was like locked in on that Lakeshore series. Like, she'd be like asking me, like, hey, like, is there are the boys playing tonight? Like, yeah, we're playing tonight. So then we'd be watching games here. Like, I didn't go to the ones on the road, I was at the home games. But like, so me and E, because sometimes, man, we go to the game and it'll be like halfway through the first period, you be like, I want to go home. Like, we're not going home.
It's never the 0-0 games. It's the ones where it's like 5-0 Essex after the first.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm out of here. He's like, I got my snack from the snack bar and everything like that.
He's ready to roll.
But yeah, man, you guys had just everybody on the edge of their seats, man. It was
this whole year. That was so much fun at the start. I even told you, I said this is going to be unfair. That was so much fun just being able to write, oh, Conor Dembinski with 4 points tonight. And, like, Gabe Piccolo with 8. He had like 8 in his first game. Or first game at home.
He had like a 7-point game or something stupid.
I watched him. It was 7 points. 3 and 4, I think. Because I watched him in Wheatley, and that was like, it was like a sleeper game. It was like 3-1 empty net or something like that. And I was like, oh, I didn't really, I don't know, Pick he didn't do much. And then all of a sudden, he's playing with Coos and Halsey. It's just like, bing, bing. Coos had that shot off the draw. Like, you guys were a unit this year, and just a pleasure to watch you these past 3 years. Like, I watched your 16-year-old year, but wait, you were 16-year-old in Essex?
No, I played my 16-year-old in Bellever Midget, and I AP'd with Lakeshore. I played in Essex for my 17-year-old.
17. So you and so Bryce would have been your
So the year I went to Midget Major, Bryce Ryan, Risey was our 16-year-old. I wasn't on the team. I was APing in Lakeshore that year. Came to Essex the next year. Risey went up to B in LaSalle. Halfway through the season, I believe he came back. That's the same time Halsey came back too before the deadline. But yeah, I mean, the only guys left since then are me and Halsey, and Halsey came back halfway through. So we've been there for a while. We've been through it a lot, and Yeah, as much. Yeah, I've known Halsey a long time. We've been through. I even went up to him after we got knocked out, and I was like, "Hey, man, fuck, it's been since Sun County, right? So it's been a long time." And great guy, stand-up guy, and pleasure to be able to play with him for the last couple of years. That's for sure.
One of the things I'm going to ask you: are you going to try out for the Birds?
Oh, Tilburg. Yeah, those guys reached out.
They asked me about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave a really good review. I gave a really good review.
Good. Yeah, those guys reached out. Yeah, I mean, where's the harm in going for a skate, right? I do hear that there's some big guys in that league, some big 30-year-old guys laying bod. So, I don't know what to expect. I've never seen any of their games, right? So, and at the same time, I don't want to commit to something I can't commit to. With school and work and everything. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. My thing's always been, if anybody asked me to come try out anywhere, it's been like, well, how can a skate hurt, right? So
because they asked me about you, so I was like, he's
he's
gonna be a guy you want.
Their captain there was texting me. I asked if there's any interest. I said, yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate you reaching out. Like, yeah, of course. Like, I hear it's good hockey. I hear those guys fly around, man.
Half of them are like pro players.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, we'll see what happens. And I do know some guys that have taken a couple years off and then started, but I also don't want to ever look back at it and be like, oh fuck, I wish I did that. So that's
in case you didn't know, like, you're not exactly the smallest guy yourself. So I think
that's
fair.
You'll
be okay, dude.
No, I know. I've never been afraid of playing with big guys, older guys.
Your game is good enough to fucking play wherever the hell you want, bro. Like,
I appreciate that.
Like, you got the shot, you got the hands, like you said, your wheels, whatever, but you're a big guy.
He's got the best sellies, too. Only guy on Essex who knew how to selly. It was always awesome.
But those
punch in the air at center ice.
That was always my go-to. It was kind of funny because I remember I scored my first of the season. Or maybe it was my second. Because I was snake bin, right? So I was fired up to get my first this year. And because it had never taken me more than like 2 or 3 games to get my first goal of the season. This year it took me like 8 or 9. So I was real fired up to score that first one. And I remember I did the celly where I like throw my leg in the air and punch the air. And Cale McCabe says something to me. He's like, hey, you always do that one. You ever going to change it up? And I was like, I'll tell you what, when Lori gets a picture of it, I'll change it up. In that game, she got a picture of it. So I had to think of something new.
I think, was that against Amherstburg?
Dresden,
okay.
Year, yeah.
Was it on the...
That was at home. My first one was at home.
I'm trying to think if I got that on film. I don't know. Because first half of this year, but I can recall the first goal I got of you on film this year was against Amherstburg. You walked in, did that same celly.
Yeah.
But
that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah. Just to wrap it up, I suppose.
I was just gonna ask you, do you have anything else for him?
Just the closing, like how's life, brother? Like, how's school?
Good, man. Good. I'm almost done. So next semester, next year, first semester, that's my last one. Hoping to graduate at the end of next year with my Bachelor of Science in Biology and Environmental Science. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to be able to make some real money out of school, right? So everything's going well, in life and everything, aside from not being able to play hockey anymore. But who knows, man? I could keep playing, right? So I'm at least going to be, cranking beers in the summer leagues and stuff. So having a good time.
Couple games with me and fucking Halsey, or what?
Is there an age limit for the dub?
No. I mean, it's kind of funny because it's supposed like Mr. Bugley, he kind of advertises it to people as like a junior prep league because they got a lot of young guys that want to play, and they play, and then guys like Palesy and Siegs and whoever else, they'll come and watch some games, and you get an eye on the young guys through the summer that are coming into camp, but at the same time, all the older guys. Like I was talking to, actually, I ran into Patrick McManus today at the golf course. He plays for the Vipers, and he's going to be the GM of a team this year, just like me. And he's like, I got like 12 Vipers guys coming. I'm like, right on, man. So awesome. The league's it's always been good. It's getting better, but it's funny because one of the first guys to sign up every year is Jack Sanko, one of my good buddies.
Baby.
So Sank baby. He'll be playing the dub. He'll probably be the oldest guy. So there's not really an age limit, I guess.
I was gonna say, how old's he?
He would be
23.
No, I'm 20.
20
He's 24, 23. I forget if I think he's in 99.
His 08 was COVID year,
I think he's
right?
in 99.
All right,
so-
boys.
so it was COVID,
All right,
yeah.
boys. I'm suiting up.
Yeah.
Chris Chelios right here.
Dude, Sanks is awesome. He's like 12 at heart.
I think we.
Yeah. I love
that
that
the
guy.
Sanko we had on the show? We had a
I checked
Sanko on
through
the show.
history. I don't-
He has his brother Luke. Maybe it was
Okay,
Luke.
maybe it was
I
him.
think-
I know we had a Sanko
Yeah.
on the show.
Well, honestly, man, he'd probably love to. That
Oh,
guy
yeah,
loves to
dude.
talk to.
He always is. Anytime I would post something on my old account, that 73's stats page, anything it was a Dembinski brother, chimes in right
which
away.
ones?
Yeah.
Which ones in Florida?
That's Luke.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Luke,
'cause
who's
Jack's
who we
still
had on the
around,
show
yeah.
then.
Jack does.
So I'm like, look at this guy. He
He's
pops
doing
on the Zoom
ACHA,
call.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Hey,
well,
this
Jack
guy-
went out to Davenport for a year and then he came back, and so yeah.
Luke fucking pops on the Zoom call. He's got palm trees in the
Yeah,
background.
like come
look at
on,
this
man.
fucking
How
guy.
can you go wrong?
That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that's
but yeah, he
hilarious.
always comments on either you or DJ's posts. He'll be like, I told your brother to change his white chin strap. I
Yeah.
saw that one.
Yeah, well, it's good because like Mr. Bugley and those guys, they do the checking clinic, which I've helped out since I was a kid. In almost 10 years now, we've been doing the checking clinic in over there. And it's funny because this kid comes up to me and he goes, "You still play it?" I'm like, "Oh, my last year this year, buddy." He goes, "You know Jack Sanko?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know Sanks." He's like, "That's my cousin." And I'm like, "All right, well, you tell him that you lay body better than he does." Jack will hate that. He loved laying the bod. So yeah, I used to ride with him in every game in practice. He's a good friend of mine. So
That's
Beautiful.
awesome.
Do you have anything else to ask him, or are you?
I think. Oh, I do. I thank you for saying that. Now is your opportunity. I felt bad. I couldn't get it in on the call. You got a cousin in Tennessee who was
Yeah,
watching
man.
the playoffs. Give your shout out right now. There's a camera right there.
yeah, man. Shout out to Nick Bickford, man. He's a super fan out of Tennessee. He's my cousin. He started watching us. He lived with us for a summer and a season. I think it was before I was playing in Essex. So he loves the boys. He loves the Essex 73s, and he was watching every game. He loves he loves you guys, man. He loves the call. So yeah, he'll love this, man. Shout out to Nick Bickford.
Yeah, beauty.
He's a great guy.
Love
man.
it.
Yep.
Better be watching all these episodes.
Right on. I'm
Drop
sure he
a
will,
like-
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
I think that's all.
Yeah, man. Seriously, like, I just want to say thank you for everything over the past like freaking few years, man. You've been so good to our show. My son like loves you, obviously. Like every game, like, where's Connor? Where's Connor? When he first started going to games with me, and you were like the first year you started wearing our badge, and he was like, he'd be like, "Where's Connor? Where's Connor?" Like every shit, I'd be like, "Dude, he has to rest. Like he's on the bench."
I
Like,
definitely,
you know what I mean?
I'm one of those guys that needs a lot of rest.
Yeah, but it was funny. But yeah, man, just everything you've done, sign sticks, flicking them pucks, freaking fist bumps before you guys go out for warm up,
big
man.
time.
Seriously, just thank you for everything that you've done.
Well,
man.
I
Everything.
appreciate you guys saying that because Jamie said to me yesterday at the rink too. He said that he's like you mean as much to this organization as this organization means to you, and that felt really cool coming from him. Because I love the threes. Like I said earlier, I like to think I bleed orange. So the fact that he said that the organization cares like that about me, it means a lot. It definitely means a lot. So
you need to be involved in some aspect.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, I will. I'll be around. I'll definitely be the loudest guy in the beer section. That's for sure. But yeah, no, I'll be around, especially if Carter's around. So, and my parents my parents love the organization. So, I'm sure this family, me and my brother will be a part of the 73s for a long time. So.
Love it.
So, just a quick question. I'm just thinking, was it Caldwell who signed you, or was it?
So yeah, that would have been Caldwell.
Okay.
Caldwell was my GM my first season. It was kind of funny because Caldwell was the GM the year before when I said, "Hey guys, sorry, I'm going to try out in Lakeshore," but they never had any animosity. I remember Blenheim asked me to sign that year too.
Okay.
Their GM was great. He was always really good to me, Bob Price, and I told them, I said I wanted to play. I just want to play closer to home.
Yeah.
So I had to make the call to Lakeshore and Blenheim and tell them I was playing in Essex, which I was fired up about, and I still am. Right. So.
Right on.
Love it. Anything?
That's all.
All right.
Punch
Well,
my ticket there.
like I said, thank you again. We're gonna have you sign this jersey.
I'll definitely
here.
sign that jersey.
So
man.
everybody, we hope you enjoyed this. We're gonna have some more 73 soon. So until next time,
Yep.
Connor.
Right on. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Dembo.
I've lost my fight with time. My chance, my friend.